Today we're racing Navig8, which is 66 kilometers, about 430 meters of climb as a ZRS B 520 to 690 ZRS Score. Plan for today's race is simple: stay with the A's for as long as I can. If you remember, there's a couple people with some good 20-minute power, 4.6 watts per kilo. So I really need to stick with them. The climb is going to be extremely draftable, which is beneficial to me. As you can see, those are the races, and there's one to worry about in the B category in terms of sprint. The A's are starting to do their job, which is to make this difficult on us and keep the pace a little bit high. You can see that it's starting to stretch out. All I have to do is make sure there's a green jersey in front of me. The A's can get away, that's not a problem, but a B can't go with them. So that's sort of my strategy. Stay with the pack, surf, and always have a green jersey in front of me. There I let things go a little too far and had to do a little bit of an effort to get back. A's continue to pepper with little digs, not full on attacks, but definitely digs. It was tough, I must say. I always kind of subscribe to if I'm hurting, everybody else is hurting, especially when it's A's hurting B's, then we just got to keep with it and stay with all the attacks. And like I said, we can get dropped, that's fine. I just can't get dropped when a B goes along with them. Here we're going to more or less enter recovery before the climb. It was a little attacky, but not too bad. And I'm going to focus on conserving watts, getting my heart rate down before we start climbing. I'm very familiar with this climb. It's the Itza KOM and the KOM. I know my limits on that, and I'm ready to get near those, but I do need a decent recovery beforehand. We're getting ready to enter the climb. I'm actually kind of resigned to Matsuyama beating me in this climb. I'm going to try to stick with them if I can, but I was really actually kind of resigned to playing for second. Tisa Deepenmat is, forgive me if I'm probably saying that wrong. I did see an opportunity here to drop Tis and then just go with Matsuyama. And that's why I'm taking pulls here as well, because it benefits us to both drop Tis. And then in the flats between I always forget my KOMs, but going up the Chichen KOM, the next one, it was also beneficial to hook up with the A's here. So I made a decision to make some pulls here to get back, but I let Matsuyama do most of the work. Simple here. I just got to stick with them. It doesn't matter what they throw at me. I've got to stick with it. I'm going to get into super tuck probably better than most. I'm a little bit heavier. Again, the A's can roll off. I just can't let it be. I'm going to invest some energy here and get to the left and try to get my own super tuck lane. It is one of the ways to combat lighter riders. It is hard to get into super tucks. I've struggled with this a few times, but we get it. I don't know how to say that name. Gujorso, Norwegian, I believe, is also pretty heavy, so they get into it. We're pulling away from Matsuyama, and Matsuyama is in no person's land here, kind of flailing, trying to catch up. And I noticed this, and I need to take this moment to make a plan and recover. I'm eating, getting some calories, but as soon as I hit the bottom, I'm going to catch up to Gyorso Again, I'm just going to call him G because I can't pronounce that, and see what we can do in terms of taking a pull. Do you have a teammate? I don't know. I think it's Saxon Peters. I don't know Saxon Peters, but they are a teammate. Probably it stands to reason I got some help from them. But here we go. I need to put on the gas and start taking pulls. This was the critical move of the entire race. So here we go, I gotta catch up, and then I'm actually going to put in a dig to get past them. I wanna put some space between myself and Matsuyama. It's really, and working with the A's is my hope here. I get an absolute help from Peters, who comes ripping through at 5 watts per kilo. No idea, I think there is a bit of a carrot for them, and then Unverfirth is an A at the and they're probably not going to be caught, but I think you should put in a chase. So Peters is starting to chase down, and it just really aligns. So identifying this, I need to take pulls though. I can't sit on my laurels and let them do all the work. So you'll see I do start to take pulls, but this was the critical piece of the race, is that I really need to watch Matsuyama's power. I need to get in and take, now this is a strategic break here. It is -3%. It just makes sense for me to save a little bit of energy there. I do lose some kph, that's fine, but in terms of it's a better place for me to take a break. And then I'm back on the watts, and I will be pulling on the front here. It's 3 of us against 1, and they have a carrot in front of them as with chasing Unverfirth and Unverfirth, excuse me. And Unverfirth is starting to show a little fatigue, and so I can use that to my advantage. I help in the rotations, and it puts distance between myself and Matsuyama. I'm really looking for a minute here. It is a long way left in the race. We started this move with, I don't know, 25, 26K left to go. But 3 against 1, Matsuyama is the 4.6 watt per kilo 20 minutes, so that's pretty impressive. I'm keeping a sharp eye on their power. A few points they give up, and I really start pushing down on the pedals when they do. But just rotating through is my plan. There's a few climbs here, and figure it out as we go. As we near the finish, you'll find that they're now jockeying for position between themselves, Sisu Rider, Peters, and G. And so there'll be some interesting things that come there, and I just need to keep the pace high. I really want to make sure that Matsuyama isn't inspired at any point, and this gap it's mine to lose here. It's pretty insurmountable at this point as long as I keep watching his power, matching his power. So Peters and G start some gamesmanship right there. That was a nice little attack. I just want to stay in the draft, and it's worth expending some watts for me to get back into it. It's okay if I get dropped here, and I'm a little bit more relaxed, and I do kind of get dropped, but I saw some openings to get back on. Not sure if that was charity from them or whatnot. I'm sure they were tired, but it just behooves me to stay in the draft as much as possible till the end. And now things are kind of stabilized, and we're getting ready for a sprint finish. I was resigned to not sprint, to be honest, but we'll see how this works out. I did not have recon on A riders, but these two have some absolutely savage sprints. I'm not disappointed with my sprint here after 40 miles of racing. Theirs was just just better, and I just have to write it better next time. But for not wanting to sprint, I think I put in a decent one, but holy moly, congrats to both of them. Pretty amazing. So thanks for watching.